Hey, welcome everybody. It's Trash Talk. Hope everybody had a great Memorial Day yesterday. We
hmm
did because obviously the trash behind us is the remnants of a big party time we had yesterday and over the weekend. Uh,
Yeah, we had some rain a little bit this weekend, but
Absolutely.
it's hot, man. It's getting there. I mean, even right now I'm sweaty.
There's no rhyme nor reason to this weather.
There isn't.
I just don't get it. It's just, and when it's hot, it's like steaming
It's
hot,
sticky
especially
too.
after it rains and all. It gets steamy hot, and then all of a sudden, 2 hours later, you hear the thunder,
Yeah.
and whatever you're watching on TV gets interrupted with a weather advisory from the National Weather Service.
I
Uh,
don't know what you I don't know. You're still watching cable apparently because that does not happen on streaming service.
No, no, it does because I've got Alexa
Well, that's different.
connected to so I'm watching a game or something, and all of a sudden beep 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 beep, and it
Yeah.
starts to scroll across the screen, or one of the stations breaks in with an update that there's.
Apparently, 2 nights ago, something big was happening, possible tornado in North Texas, but I didn't hear sirens and my phone didn't go off, so it must not have been near us. But I woke up and Facebook, I had a couple things on it. And I'm like, did I sleep through a tornado?
Yeah, yeah, and I don't mind so much, the rain. There was a lot of rain, there was some wind and everything, but Lauren had to go out to a luncheon one day last week, and there was talk of hail. And you
hmm
just feel like you don't want to be going out to meet somebody for lunch and have your car sitting in a parking lot getting
That's what happened to
pelted by
me.
golf ball sized hailstones.
I think it was the last day of school or I don't remember, but I'm in line waiting to pick up. No, it couldn't have been the last day. It was the second to last day of school, waiting in line to pick up Luke. And all of a sudden it was just like pa-ping, 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 pa-ping. And I'm like, cool, as if my car doesn't have enough problems. But I, I it's getting machine gunned by God. I have
I have
to
a neighbor
apologize,
down.
guys. I have to apologize. I'm getting sick, so my voice is going. And I apologize on the lighting. I did transition studios. I've not made new studio yet. So deal
Okay,
with this weird thing going on here.
you're still you.
That's true. It's also true. And I have to apologize to Stuart. He has been one of the best co-hosts I've ever had and the most patient co-host because the last 2.5 weeks with Brandon Navera, you might as well try to book it with the president because like
Yeah.
from working 9 days straight with Mother's Day weekend, dealing with Luke, and then moving by myself, mind you, minus the movers I hired. God bless
Yeah.
those guys. I got to get their names. I'm gonna give them a shout out. Um, then going back into work, setting up the new place. Luke's out of school, and now we're going. We went to Memorial Day weekend. I cannot. We've barely made the connection.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a damn good thing that I'm retired and I'm a little bit flexible because I mean,
Thank God.
and sent Brandon will send me an email or something say, hey, you want to record a couple of shows? I'm available at 7 a.m. on Sunday morning.
I'm the
Uh,
worst.
Oh, okay,
That's
so
all I
much,
had. I literally looked at it and I'm
yeah,
like,
so
okay,
much for
Monday's out.
sleeping in, huh?
Monday was like, we couldn't record on Memorial Day. There's a lot going on. Uh, and then we're like, oh crap. We already went through our shows.
Right, yeah, 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 yeah. The shows we record in advance, and we sometimes we'll record 3, 4 shows in advance, and all of a sudden Tuesday comes up, we run the show, and oh my gosh, that was the last one we had,
Yeah.
so we got to get back into the
The
studio.
struggle is real. But did you eat anything good for Memorial Day? Did you make anything? Did you?
Uh, Actually, when Lauren went out with her friends for lunch, she went by Deli News. That's where they went for lunch.
Oh, yeah,
And all.
okay.
So stocked up on some pastrami and some corned
Mm.
beef, and bought a loaf of rye bread. And also I've had a couple of really good sandwiches lately.
So I've been trying to eat healthier, getting back in my fighting shape, as I get sick. But I just haven't been happy with the way that my workouts were going, and the way that I was eating. Because when you get in that rhythm of working a lot and being busy, you shouldn't be eating healthy. But two things happen: you either skip meals and
Right.
then and you pig out, or you just eat crap. You just eat. Well, I did both. So I was like, all right, fatty, we got to lose some weight. So I'm back, fighting again. But I did, it's Memorial Day, right? You gotta have fun, right?
Right.
So I did do a nice little brisket queso with an IPA. Yeah,
Interesting. Interesting.
really good. Because I mean, you do beer cheese, you do beer cheese soup, but you get an IPA in there with that, the maltiness and the bitterness and that case. Oh my God. And it was so good.
I did about a week or so ago. We got a brisket, put it in a crock pot,
Hmm.
covered it with mustard. Put the meat in the bottom of the crock
Okay.
pot, cover it with
Okay.
mustard, mix it
Interesting.
up with some onion soup
Okay.
and a little bit of white wine and
Mm.
just let it sit there and cook for 10 hours on slow.
Yes. Slow, slow. Yeah.
Uh, uh,
Or low.
Absolutely delicious. It was delicious just as a meal and all, but then we took a chunk of it and we shredded it up and then made some sandwiches out of it afterwards.
As you should. As you
Yeah.
should. So when you do the white wine, I always ask people, because I mean, obviously Italian over here. So
Hey,
if I'm cooking with wine, I'm making sure that it's at least a decent enough wine. Yeah, I'm not gonna be dropping a $50 bottle in my sauce, but I want a decent wine so that I can sip on it while I cook,
well, yeah.
Do you do the same, or do you just go with, I just need a white wine?
Well, it depends. 'Cause, I mean, sometimes some recipes, especially like pasta, will ask for will suggest sherry.
I don't
To
like sherry. I don't use sherry.
which is a little too sweet and all. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Uh, but I mean, generally we follow whatever the recipe says. So cooking sherries, but using a little bit of wine just adds that little extra flavor to it.
Right, but do you buy a wine that's going to be a cooking, or do you buy a white that you can actually drink while you cook?
Probably a drinking wine is better
Yeah,
because that way
I agree.
the first ingredient says to pour yourself a glass of wine.
Always, you should.
Yeah,
Whenever I'm cooking a long meal, I'm drinking.
that that's right. So by the time you get to the end of the recipe and everything, whether it tastes good or bad
It's
doesn't
a good
really
time.
matter.
Yeah.
As, as long as
I
it's all in what they say in the restaurant. It's in the presentation.
Yeah, exactly. And I also get because I see a lot of people always asking for cooking wine, and I always ask them what they're making. And then I always ask them, "Hey, what are you gonna have some of this afterwards?" And if they're like, "No," then I'm like, "All right, come with me."
Yeah.
But when I see people buy like Barefoot to cook with, I'm like, look, I don't care if you're drinking anyway. Just get something else besides Barefoot, okay?
Well, you figure if you're going to pour
Jesus,
some of it out instead of down the mouth.
I ain't drinking Barefoot. Okay, I stopped drinking Barefoot when I was like 19. Okay,
I remember college. It was Richard's Wild Irish Rose Wine.
jeez, that sounds
You remember
horrible.
that?
No, well, they don't even have that anymore. I don't know what
I
that
don't
is.
think they have it anymore. But back in my day, they made it in like 12 different sizes, from the gallon decanters right down to the little pint size bottles and
Sounds
so
awful.
in order you I remember when you finish a bottle, you'd put it on the windowsill. And so you'd have all these bottles of Richard's Wild Irish Rose wine lined up on your windowsill. I don't really
Jesus.
remember why we did that, but we did. But
So I remember, man, I gotta fix this light. It's pissing me off.
Boone
Anyway,
Farm was another one.
Boone's Farm. So that's what I was gonna say. So now, obviously, don't cook with Boone's Farm, but
Right.
um, we would do that, and we would call it the pass around. and we would buy Boone's Farm bottles and just take a drink, pass it around, take a drink, pass it around. We'd probably go for like 5 or 6 of those on top of shots. And yeah, I don't want to talk about it, but
Right.
man, you can cook like that's what people need to realize. Like, and like you can cook with so much. And like, Shinerbach is a phenomenal one to cook with. You're making some chili. I mean,
I was just
like
gonna say, yeah.
marinades, like, oh my God. I used to work at this bar years ago, probably about 12, 11 years ago. It's no longer around. And our biggest thing that we would do on Tuesdays was Tuesday night pint night. Now, this was back in the day when pint nights weren't as big and they were just like we were coming into the market. And that would be you buy the beer, you get to keep the glass, the special glass from the brewery. And we would feature a new brewery every Tuesday. And I developed this following there. The bar was lined up. It was great. We had a great chef, Keith, who's no longer with us. He passed away. And he would cook with whatever beer we were promoting, or at least one of the beers from the brewery. And it could be anything. And he made these onion rings with the local brewery down in Dallas. He made these onion rings, and the beer was a red IPA. So you got the bitterness and the malt. And I got to tell you, the beer battered onion rings with this beer, oh my God, was phenomenal. But then he took it one step further, and then he made a cheesecake. Oh, I don't even know how he did it. I don't know how he did it. And we would do it every Tuesday. So people would come in for the beer, but they were so excited to buy, like, what food is he going to come up with? And it could be everything from fried food to a sauce to, I mean, it was just, and I learned a lot of different options from him.
Yeah. I beer brats was
Oh,
always and that was a big thing in the Midwest in all
Oh,
this.
huge.
While you're grilling your brats and everything, you use a little bit of beer on that, and then you also mix in a little bit of beer with the sauerkraut to put on top of the brats
Yeah.
and everything. Good stuff. And
I use
you
wine. I
mentioned
don't use, go
you
ahead.
mentioned chili
Yeah.
before. Chili, you can put wine in chili, you can put
Yeah.
beer in chili, almost any kind of spirit in chili to give it that little extra oomph.
And I don't use wine all the time when I cook, but yeah, I mean, if I'm making a sauce, a specific sauce, or especially if I'm doing seafood, there's some good things
Seafood
you can
and
do.
pasta. Seafood
Yeah,
and pasta is always are good for adding a little bit of wine to it to give it a
I
little
agree.
extra.
And grilling, I feel like when you're grilling, yeah, you got to get some marinades with beer, and yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
I agree.
and even
And I
mix it
love, I
if you're
love pairing
making
it
your
too.
burgers, you just add the beer and everything to the meat while you're making the patties.
I've seen people do some, and I'm not, talented enough to figure out what they're doing, but I've seen people make this little like spread, and it's got some beer in there. And so as they're cooking, they'll just spread the meat, they'll spread it on the meat very thin. Oh, just adds so much flavor.
To let it just cook right into the meat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Those are the kind of burgers that when you put it on a bun, you don't want to add lettuce and tomato and
No,
onion and all that kind of stuff.
you
You
don't want
want
to
to
cover it.
just eat that burger for this flavor that you've just added with the beer and the wine and whatever seasonings you put into it.
Yeah, or just give it something like a little condiments.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
So, well, hey, it's starting to wet the juices. Maybe go out there and do a little bit of grilling
Yeah,
or
why not?
something. And hey, listen, y'all, if you've got a recipe or something that you like with particular kinds of wines or beers or something, drop us a note and all. We'll do another show and feature some of your recipes.
Yeah, we'll make it happen.
Yeah, and maybe we'll even just throw the grill out in the parking lot, and we'll invite the listeners to come over and share their recipes live on the show.
There you go. There you go.
That'd be a good idea. I could wrap my teeth
I
around
could figure that out.
that. All right, well, go out and make it a good day. And hey, by the way, for those veterans out there that recognize May 30th as also as Memorial Day. Tomorrow is May 30th, and I'll go out and still celebrate and remember our veterans. And I'll make it a good one. Come back and see us again next week. Same time, same place.
Stuart's messing up again, guys.